News just dropped today that Harry Potter, which is now under the HBO Max umbrella, is going to be producing a live action television show. Not many details are out right now about what
Yeah.
this show is going to look like, what it's going to center around. Uh, Initial reaction hearing this news, Dave.
Happy about it for sure. Also, not that surprised. It makes a lot of sense given how Warner's has been moving regarding HBO Max. Remember, they've been developing spin off shows for all those DC movies. We know there's going to be one for Batman and the Suicide Squad, for example. And I mean, yeah, it's one of probably their second most valuable IP after the DC stuff, I'd have to imagine. So you got to keep that going. The Fantastic Beasts movies, whether you like them or you don't, definitely have some mixed feelings about that. Check those reviews out, youtube.com/nostalgiapod. Fantastic Beasts 3 is not expected till the end of next year. If the plan sticks, there's two more of those. Either way, you got to keep that Harry Potter stuff going. HBO's doubling down on Game of Thrones, right? We got word of a second spin-off regarding Duncan Egg. We know House of Dragons coming. So they know what their best stuff is, and they're going to make new stuff around that. So it makes plenty of sense. It's funny. It's funny, like the comments. Like this was an exclusive report from the Hollywood Reporter, and like Warner Brothers and AT&T, Warner Media, whatever, they had denied that a Harry Potter series was in any stage of development.
Okay.
And a lot of people were like, "Oh, that's clickbait. See, it's not happening." And it's like, how many times has shit been reported that it has been denied and then later confirmed?
Yeah.
What's new here, people? Come on. Like,
Also, this makes the most sense. Like, there's no reason to make an investment like this and have this IP and just let it sit at this
right.
point, especially when
I,
HBO Max is just trying to build their platform out.
I think a reason behind that statement, beyond like just the normal stuff we expect, again, Chris Evans denied that the Captain America talks had resumed, right? And Tatiana Maslany said she wasn't She Hulk until Kevin Feige mentioned it on the investor call, right? Like this happens all the time. But it's important to note that NBC Universal actually has the distribution rights to Harry Potter. The IP is owned by Warner's, but NBCU has like everything regarding Harry Potter. So and that goes through 2025. Does that mean the show can't exist until 2025? I don't know. Maybe they'll strike a deal. If you remember, Harry Potter launched, the movies launched on HBO Max, then left after a few months because actually when they're coming back to Peacock
Mhm.
because NBC actually has that rights. They like took a check from Warner's to have it there for the Max launch. So I wonder if that has something to factor in. Either way, obviously it's not close. It sounds like it's just being discussed. And I mean, yeah, duh. Why wouldn't they discuss something like this?
I mean, on the one hand, I think it's the sort of thing where some people look at the Harry Potter movies that have been made, even Fantastic Beasts, and are pretty protective of them. I think for as much as you can look at some of the early ones and the CGI isn't great and the acting's not great, but they're kids. People like the movies. On the other hand, I want to see them redo everything, and I don't know if I necessarily want the whole Harry Potter story over again. But why don't we start with like let's see Snape's story. Let's see more of Dumbledore's like
Mm.
adventures. McGonagall. Like I feel like you can take those people and center, like mini series around them, tie things back together. I mean, what do you want to see out of a Harry
Yeah.
Potter series?
Well, this just reminds me of everything we've talked about with Star Wars spin-offs and even Thrones spin-offs, right? It's like, do you want to connect to the existing canon that the average fan knows about, or do you do something completely new? Um, the Hogwarts Legacy video game that's coming out in 2022, not canon. J.K. Rowling's not involved in that, but that's actually taking place in the 1800s, which is decades before even Fantastic Beasts. And basically, is going to be like brand new, not connected to what we know. Makes sense. It's a playground, a sandbox. Like we talk about Star Wars. Uh, I think there's plenty of potential to do something like that. Why don't we just go do shit at Hogwarts in the 1600s?
Yeah.
Cool. Why not? I guess you could, if you wanted to like do name brand stuff, you could do like the founding of Hogwarts with like Godric Gryffindor and Salazar Slytherin and those cats if you wanted to, I guess, sure.
Hmm.
I would love this to be set at Hogwarts though, just kind of show more of that, like
Yeah.
because Harry Potter, the books, the books really get into it, but the movies kind of have to whip through, especially at the end. Like, remember, like Quidditch never shows up in later movies at all.
Yeah.
Like, they don't go to class again. Like, they had to focus on the greater plot. But if you had maybe like a, I don't know, a lower stakes Harry Potter thing
Yeah.
in show form, the other alternative though is I have to imagine J.K. Rowling's going to be involved in some way because she controls
Yeah. All the
so much of the
IP.
creative process. And despite all the controversy with her statements about trans people aside, she's going to be involved. She's not involved in the video game, but that was by her choice. You have to imagine she's involved. Maybe you do this like post Potter epilogue, post Cursed Child, and set it in like the present times because like the Harry Potter stories in the '90s. I guess that's a option too. There's plenty of options, but I would like Hogwarts to be kind of the familiarity, like like Mandalorian took us to Tatooine, and we had some familiar beats there. What's set it in Hogwarts, something we know, and everything else can be new for all I care.
Yeah, I even feel like there's maybe something post show if you do want to like post the Harry Potter stories if you want to connect it to the main IP. Maybe it's like loosely you see some of these characters pop up, but it's following. I saw you tweet about like Law and Order,
Yeah,
you know,
not my joke, but it's a great night, great meme.
but it would be funny to see something like that, or interesting to see that like Oars like going around have like almost like a procedural show or something like
Sure.
that. You can get weird, and even like I could see them if they have a couple of hits do something like what Marvel's doing now, where you have a whole bunch of shows exploring all different parts, and you
Yeah.
just really can build out so much of this world.
Why
So
not? Why not?
w-
I mean, that was kind of the potential of Fantastic Beasts, right? Oh, we get to see the Wizarding World in America, outside of England. Cool. What's that like? And yeah, I mean, returns are so so, but that's more about the creative choices than anything else, right? Like
mhm.
there's so much untapped potential in the Wizarding world. We still, haven't done any of it.
If they said we're gonna do a Game of Thrones level production retelling of the original Harry
Oh,
Potter story, would you be in?
jeez. I mean, sure, of course, just because on the chance it's better. Because like the Harry Potter movies are very up and down as far as
Mhm,
adaptations of the text go, but it's not. I actually really don't want that to be honest. Like the books are the books. The books are good
mhm.
enough. I don't need you to try it again. Like just do
Yeah,
something new, but just add to it.
I think I wouldn't mind seeing it maybe in a couple of years. You kind of test out these ideas, build out the world, and if you find a director who just really connects with this world and Rowling
Hmm.
really trusts, maybe then you're like, let's retell this. But it's too
Yeah.
too soon, in my opinion.
And I think the key question with this, and as we've been saying, the scope of how far they take Harry Potter TV and Harry Potter media is how involved does J.K. Rowling remain? Because George Lucas, originally the sole creative force behind Star Wars, was stopped being involved, and Disney has had their ups and downs, and seems to now they just kind of take pitches. You got a cool Star Wars idea? Tell us about it, and we'll let you know what we think. I would love if they did that with Harry Potter, but and even have J.K. hear the pitches. I don't know, but like I feel like you kind of got to open it up a little bit, unless she has a great plan, I guess. But yeah, she'll probably just be involved and do everything. I don't know.
I mean, I don't mind her being involved, but I do feel like I'd like to see some new voices telling these stories. 'Cause I think the more you inspect J.K.'s writings and
Right.
world perspective, the more you can kind of pick apart some
Yeah.
not so great
Fantastic
things.
Beasts 3 did pick up other co-writers in addition to her, so that's a positive sign at least that she's willing to have other people give input. So, but I mean, some people will just be out on this given the J.K. Rowling of it all. Totally understandable, but at the end of the day, she's gonna remain involved because it's her shit. She gets to do what she wants with it.